Well, good morning. Delighted to have you. I'm Tom Kunkel, the president of St. Norbert. Is this picking up in the back? Okay. So welcome once again to the CEO Breakfast and Strategy Series, this one for 2016 and 17. We are delighted on behalf of the college and all our sponsors that you could join us once again for this terrific series. This is actually the 19th year for the CEO series, which is just a little hard for some of us to believe. But it's all because of you. The support has continued to grow. Not a lot of things where you see this build and build and build and continue to build for 2 decades, but that has really been the case. So we thank you for that. This resource is being brought to you through the generosity of our presenting sponsor, WPS Health Insurance Arise Health Plan. And the title sponsors are Wifley, Insight Publications, Johnson Bank, Johnson Insurance, and the sponsor of this session, Nicolet National Bank. Please take the folders at your place with you and take a little time later to review the information. We'd appreciate it, and so would our sponsors. At this time, it's a great pleasure for me to ask up my friend and colleague, Father Roland DePoe, who is chaplain of the St. Norbert College Alumni Board, to offer grace. Father DePoe?
Thank you, Tom. Almighty Father, help us to realize that self-interest is self-defeating. Going it alone leads to greed, insular ways, and a distorted vision of the progress important to our own needs and the needs of others. Help us to understand that cooperation and teamwork lead to new ideas, progress, and innovation. Those of us who are chosen and called to lead must do so with integrity, justice, and compassion. Give us the vision to work for the benefit of all, especially in these turbulent times when we stand or fall together. Help us to do so willingly and courageously. Give us the courage to follow not always our own designs, but cooperative efforts that move our corporations and institutions forward as a people and our nation as a whole. Bless us, gracious God, in the food we share this morning. We ask all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Father DePoe, for your message and also, frankly, the inspiration of your life and career here. Father DePoe is the only person that has been ordering every president of St. Norbert College around since the very beginning. So enjoy your breakfast. Well, good morning again, everybody. They're rowdy. Good morning again. You wanted to be a teacher, didn't you? Hope you enjoyed your breakfast, and please continue with your coffee and your muffins if you didn't get to have a muffin. But we're going to move on to the business end of the program, and we're delighted to do so. It's a real pleasure, a special pleasure for me, actually, to introduce Ashley Prange. We did it. We're talking about all the variations. If you get outside Green Bay, all the variations of that name they hear. Owner and founder of Naturale Cosmetics, an organic color cosmetics brand and manufacturing facility in the heart of downtown Green Bay. This month, Ashley celebrates her 5th year in the cosmetics business, pioneering an innovative approach to organic, vegan, and non-toxic beauty products that are sold worldwide. Ashley has lobbied and assisted with policy measures to regulate personal care products. For instance, for the last 3 years, she has worked with lawmakers to write legislation that would protect customers from 1,300 ingredients that are banned in Europe but allowed in the U.S. Prior to laying the groundwork for Au Naturale, Ashley was an analyst at the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission in Washington. Ironically, so was I. Just let that sink in for a minute. At the NRC, she was awarded the Presidential Award for Combined Federal Campaign Efforts, as well as performance awards for her work on uranium mine cases in the Indian reservation of Pine Ridge. In 2011, while working for the NRC, she formulated a mineral makeup line in her kitchen, developed when she could not find products that worked with her own sensitive skin. The demand for the product quickly took off, and after 1 year, she quit her job and moved her company to her native Green Bay. In other words, classic American entrepreneurial story. She is a St. Norbert College graduate, and as a student, she co-founded the Zambia Project, a nonprofit group that continues to fund educational efforts for girls and orphans in Zambia in Africa. She spent her sophomore year studying in Washington, D.C., where she also worked full-time in the Congressional Office of Patrick Kennedy. Please welcome, or I should say welcome home, Ashley Prange. Ashley.
Okay, I had to get my phone because it's a speech about millennials, and I absolutely have to take a picture and post it on Instagram because that's what we do, right? So everybody smile, actually. Okay, hold on. We can all find this later. Hashtag St. Norbert. Okay. I am so happy to be back here. It's so bizarre to be actually behind the podium because it didn't feel like that long ago that I was here for mostly sitting in on trustee meetings. The students usually don't get to be in this room. But yeah, I guess it was 11 years ago or something. So I was the class of 01 to 05 before I headed out to DC. So here we are, pretty exciting. We are talking about millennials in the marketplace today. I was asked to do so by a few people. I think they find that our company, Naturale, which you so kindly gave the general idea of what we do, but mineral makeup, and we're also unique in that we are old millennials managing new millennials, some of which are at this table over here. So our interesting work dynamic, I think people are curious about because we are engaging and innovative in so many ways that is untraditional. So unpacking that for me to share with you is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to do it. Here we are. I have a little Prezi. And we have a lot of stereotypes, millennials. We are born between 1980 to 1997. We just surpassed the baby boomers in population. We are very much a part of the economy. There's about 60 million of us. We spend a lot of money, and we have a lot of adjectives associated with us. Anybody have any? You want to throw out?
Entitled.
Entitled. Lazy, yes. Good for nothing. I think someone said unfit to live is something I recently lived. Very selfish. I can understand that. So in response, I think our generation is a little defensive with the adjectives. And although this piece is a little cheeky, it's the only thing I've found that I think adequately, not adequately, but captures that intensity.
And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry.
We suck, and we know it.
We're self-centered. We're entitled. We're narcissistic, lazy, and immature.
And we're super sorry about that.
We're the worst. If only we could be more like our parents.
Yeah, the baby boomers. You guys were great.
You gave us great music.
60s counterculture.
Psychedelic drugs.
A lot of great movies, too.
Jurassic Park was awesome. Good job with that one.
We don't know what happened. You raised us to believe that we were special.
So special that we didn't even have to do anything to earn it.
I got this trophy for existing in soccer.
That's pretty special.
No idea what went wrong.
You tried your best. You insisted we all go to college, and now we're the most educated generation in American history.
Sure, college costs 600% more than it did when you went. And yes, we averaged like $30,000 in student loan debt.
But here we go again, making excuses. We're so lazy.
Instead of living in our parents' basements and waiting tables, we should just go and get real jobs, like you did.
I mean, not a job in manufacturing since those all got outsourced in the 90s.
Man, the 90s were great. Do you guys remember Full House? Good show.
We graduated into a recession, and 90% of the jobs created since 2009 are part-time. But let's be honest, we just don't like hard work.
Yeah, what was the deal with that recession anyway?
I think it had something to do with the housing bubble that started in the 90s. I don't know, I was still pretty young back then.
Oh, and we're really sorry about messing up those 2 wars you guys started. Sorry so many of our friends died.
We just can't do anything right.
We're really sorry we suck so much.
I mean, it's not like we jacked up college tuition prices or
Destroyed the manufacturing industry,
Started 2 quagmire wars.
gutted the unions.
Destroyed the global economy.
and left our offspring with an environmentally devastated planet stripped of its natural resources.
Man, it'd be crazy if there was a generation that recklessly awful, huh?
And we do text too much. Yeah.
No, right?
So on behalf of all the millennials, we'd like to apologize for being so terrible. From now on, we're going to be just like the baby boomers.
Because you guys, you nailed it.
Okay. You can kind of see the point. It was very funny, but I also think it hinted at some frustrations that we experience as millennials, but also in a multi-generational workplace. How do we all get along? There's a little bit of animosity there, sarcasm. This is a piece where I really want to talk about how we can all work together well. Gen X and millennials, they are together now and they comprise most of the workforce. And I have noticed, especially in my old job, and in my new venture, that there's a lot of butting heads, and I want to go and dig into that a little bit deeper. I was watching this wonderful TED Talk, and I had to kind of go there today and talk about some employees. Let's pretend, if you will, that you have a Gen X. I'm going to use an example of Darren, we called him. We thought that was a pretty Gen X name, right, Morgan? He's 48 years old. He's been working in a company for 30 years. After high school, he went and started to work for the company he's presently at. He believes that hard work and long hours will get you ahead. He also believes in top-down management style, and up until now has been pretty unchallenged in his method at work. That is until Ava joins his team. Ava, like me, is a millennial. She has a lot of ideas. She likes everyone to hear them. She has a lot of opinions that she enjoys sharing. She needs constant communication and would like to be rewarded for her performance. She does not see her tenure at the company having much to do with her mobility up the corporate ladder. She wants things done efficiently, quickly, and she's easily bored. So, clearly, Darren and Ava have issues working together. I think that these two are very solid examples of what most people experience in the workplace right now. Both need to understand and have better working environments, and I think this is where struggles sort of happen, and I see it in our company and I see it in other companies too, how to take in Gen X, and we do have Gen X too. It'd be a lie to say we're all millennials. We have at least 12 of them, and and at my old job I was managed by them, and I left in part because of my work experience at the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, basically not being rewarded and not having that constant communication, not being appreciated with ideas that might change the culture. That was always something that frustrated me, and I think it's also why they could not recruit more millennials into our team. And basically, Gen X and millennials constantly are butting heads, and there's lessons to be learned and shared goals. I think that both millennials and Gen X and baby boomers have some things in common. They want to have equal pay. They want to be appreciated. They want to understand how to be appreciated. They want to have work-life balance. And I think this is also something that we're always running into at Au Naturale, is sort of as a startup and really getting millennials engaged, how to make work fun, because work is happening all the time. So this is kind of this always an issue in every day that we are challenged with. And going back into millennials themselves, how to understand their ethics and their values and what they purchase and what they enjoy, and how they're not trusting the marketplace itself right now. This is all playing into how we deal with them, right? So yeah, I'm used to having more engagement. Are we all in agreement that we're having the same issues? I feel like I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of what I'm experiencing. At work, are you seeing these same problems? Okay, great. Does anyone have any examples that they'd like to share? We're at a startup, so I very much have real life day-to-day experiences in that world. But I am interested in this area. I have these conversations about millennial issues all over the East Coast and the West Coast, but here I find that there is a lot of not old, but really amazing large companies. And I'm also seeing that millennials are not actively moving here. And I'm curious about the ones that do work here, what sort of stories you all have, and what our experience at Au Naturale can do to support and maybe better understand and bring clarity to what you're experiencing. I had some very unique conversations prior to this, and I know that everyone's struggling with this issue, and I think it would be really powerful if you had any short stories to share. Does anyone have any? I know this is usually me talking at you, but I am curious about what you have to say on it. Anyone? Yes.
I think one thing at our organization, we actually side note won the Next Gen Best Place to Work in Green Bay Chamber last year, but I think one of the things that kind of drove that application and maybe that award was our performance program. So the way we do performance, we have quick kind of tweet level or tweet length or text length feedback that's very quick and very easy to request and easy to fill out. So it's, 160 characters if you can do that first, and then you get into more detail, but that's actually how we do evaluations.
Great.
Going forward. So folks can request it, people can jump in, on their phone, their portal, whatever it might be, to give that quick feedback. So
Yeah.
people are looking for that. I think you kind of mentioned.
Millennials need it. They usually stay in jobs only 2 years because they're often unchallenged and they're not finding the work to be meaningful enough. So I think that is exciting and amazing. Another thing that we come across is having like personal one-on-one, so that feedback is always there and always constant, so they can get better day by day instead of semi-annual reviews. Like this is another thing where people can optimize and really get the most out of millennials who have the technology at their fingertips and wonderful ideas to transform the workplace. And with some cross-training and more communication, everything can be elevated. Any other examples? I love that at all.
I'll tell us something.
Yes.
You probably text, yes?
Oh my God, like right now.
I thought it was great how you did the picture first. That was a great opener.
Yeah.
As a Gen Xer, I would never think to do that because I'm not Instagramming after I leave or when I sit down or anything like that.
Yeah.
But what I've found in working with millennials is they do appreciate, you mentioned communication, constant communication, even, perhaps. They have tools and they have digital toys and they have digital ways of communicating with each other throughout the day. I myself, I'm going to be honest, I'm still frustrated with email. And if email disappeared, I'd be happy, right?
We actually don't need it.
Yeah. So is there anything you might say about just how do you bridge that gap, or is that a gap worth crossing? It behooves me as a Gen Xer to get into those technologies, to open my mind and open my time to begin to learn how to do that in a better way.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do it to communicate and be innovative in how you're reaching out. And things like email, they don't actually matter. There are new programs where you can even more effectively communicate. And the thing is, and one of my concerns is, okay, finally you're getting into email, we're getting into things like Asana, where I just don't need that. All of my emails are being filtered. I only want to see the conversations and real-time threads that have to do with the projects I'm working on, and I'm not paying attention. So you might leave me a voicemail, John. I'm not even checking those. I don't care. I mean, text me or get on my thread, but you know, I just don't have the time in the day. And keeping up with that gap, you know, it's a struggle. And people like my mother are really into Facebook now, finally. But like even then, like I'm not really on that platform as much as I used to be. Yet, over all generations, that is the #1 website now. More people use it for checking out brands and seeing third-party confirmation, like, yeah, that is a great brand, that is a cool product, and they're not going to the website. Companies aren't, excuse me, hiring celebrities as much because millennials don't care. They don't want to be over-marketed to. They don't trust what has been left to us. If Sony had, I don't know, who's really cute? Justin Bieber or something? Playing like a new thing, I like wouldn't care. First of all, don't like Justin. First of all, he's lying because he's probably getting paid a lot of money. So that campaign probably costs a lot. And it's totally lost on our generation. That's who they're targeting. And there's a lot of misinformation on how we buy and how we work and what motivates us. Interesting that too, oh, this is fun. I was gonna save this for later. But we are so different, and this is what I'm interested in seeing playing out in this area is in 1960, there are 5 things that most people achieve before the age of 30. They moved out of their parents' home, they were financially independent, they got married, they had children, and what's the 5th one? I think they bought a home. That's just not happening anymore. Only 13% of women do that now, and only 8% of men before the age of 30. So everything is being delayed because we have so many things we want to do. We want to go travel the world. Hey, before college, let's go take a road trip for 2 years. That sounds fun. You know, mom and dad, hey, do you want to pay for that? Before we do that, I would like some life skills. And we're still dependent on our parents, a lot of us. The handouts keep coming, and we keep wanting to enjoy life to the fullest. At what cost? We'll see how that kind of translate as maybe we start thinking about having children near the age of 40. So there is so much information to take on, and so many things with our generation is so different than the ones before, which is why we're so talked about. And here in the Fox Valley, I often wonder what we're going to do to attract this generation that is actually controlling everything now. Our numbers are higher. And one thing I was trying to echo when I was on the phone with Margaret at Insight is this challenge of the millennial working on like buying habits. Sure, I mean, that's very interesting. A lot of you in this room are probably curious about that. But how to work with them and also how to attract them here. I see that as a problem. When the stats came in, and John, you're quite aware of this. By the way, John works with Launch Wisconsin, and we're always talking about attracting millennials to this area. When there are no startups and people aren't coming, what will we do? What will we do? I mean, I have wonderful people in the room like David, who has a company, and Jeff has a company, and Chris has a company, right? And how many millennials do you have working for you?
Not enough.
Not enough, okay. I know because I have a hard time finding really wonderful millennials to hire at my company, yes.
One other thought, Ashley, on the line of communication. Does environment communicate to millennials? You know, I've been to your business, and you've got a loft style environment. It's very cool. It communicates it itself as a message. Is there anything to say about that?
Yes, and that's something I was going to go into in a bit, but we'll cover it now. Having flexible work hours and having a very mentally challenging work environment proves to be most productive. So when you have stagnation with your millennial population, there won't be gratification. It's not the money. It's that ability and that challenge and that conquering of it. We are the most overeducated generation, well, the most educated generation. We also have the most student loans. We are like absolutely swimming in debt. But we are motivated by different things. And you have to translate that into the workplace. And so what we have done is kept things very exciting and startup-y, kind of techy, kind of not. But there isn't anything I'm not going to put in front of people. Paige and Morgan work on our team. They're young. You guys are like 24 or something, right? They have very big titles they probably don't deserve. But I gave them those titles because I challenged them to step up. Morgan, she left Madison. We made her head of communications, and she's killing it. Here's a budget, here's AdWords, here's sales funnels, go chase it. And she did, and she's making us cash. She had a killer day yesterday. Good work, Morgan. And then Paige came out of St. Norbert College. She was working part-time downtown when we took her on, and Mosaic or something. You were just fresh out of school. But I saw that she had all the skills of creative director, and she was so hungry for a solid challenge, and she has more than performed, which is why there's stellar. And backbone of our team. That is what I would challenge all of you to do, is to take your younger workers and just challenge them with larger projects you're probably feeling very uncomfortable in giving them, but they will, I think, surprise you and what they can do. They're talented, and they need to be rewarded. They need to communicate to them what you want, and then let them build the ship for you, because you will be surprised at what they come up with. That's one thing I would ask all of you to do with your team, because you will be surprised. Okay, let's move on. We talked about this, and we're going to take questions later. And I love having the flow, talking. I'm such a millennial. We like to communicate and chat, so I feel really uncomfortable when I'm just talking at you. Millennials, and this is what I wanted to focus on today before people called and asked for more workplace advice, is millennials as consumers. And this is something that we talk about at our startup downtown every single day. How to engage. Every day is a challenge. We wake up, we say, okay, great, what sale do we have going on? What do we have going on in social media? How are we communicating with our customers? Are we asking them questions where they can answer back? If with customer service, why didn't we get 5 stars? Why did we only get 3? Let's chase them down and find out why, and let's be better. Because we might deliver a product that seems the same to all of you. I can tell you why we're special than everybody else in our space, but we'll leave that for another day. What makes us better? Because we communicate and we talk to our consumers. We want a relationship with them, because one thing millennials are is they're brand loyal. It's a lie to think that they go from brand to brand. They actually really care about who they're purchasing from. They're ethical shoppers. Companies that aren't conscious in what they're doing for the environment or for the world, I don't think have legs in 25 years, to be honest with you. If you're not giving back, that's an issue. Think about what you're doing and what impact you're having on your community, because that will play out in your success and in attracting millennials who are really talented. They want to see you doing something. So I would ask that you do that. When you're marketing to millennials, like, how are you talking to them? You can't just put an ad in the paper and expect them to read it. They're not reading the paper. They're probably not even reading the paper online. They're probably getting their talking points for the news. Like, I don't do this. Don't you guys do this? I think everybody does it. The skim or whatever. That's big with young millennials. I'm 33, so I'm like at the end of the spectrum here. But you have to be innovative in how you're engaging and how you're attracting them to come and purchase from you. We talked about the trust issue before. Do it in a way where you're using social media as your main push forward. It's important that they're seeing you engage on a personal and authentic level. Commercials, radio things, all of this noise just goes right over my head when I'm going through my day today, and I know it's the same for people who are friends. That's just not hitting home with us. You're hitting a different demographic, maybe Gen X, but certainly not us. I went through and I tried to find a commercial that adequately captured all of the points I'm trying to making in what we as millennials are looking for, as far as being authentic in tone, as far as being value-oriented and really impactful in a way where you're touched by the message, because we are emotional. We did grow up with Sesame Street. We do care about everybody. We want to be in a diverse workplace. We want to be hugged. We want to feel really good when we come into work, and we want to feel really good about the brands we're supporting. Like, I will happily pay $6 for organic eggs and not $3 or $1.25 at Walmart. I'm broke, I'm a millennial, but that matters to me because I'm supporting a farmer and I'm supporting a sustainable lifestyle that I believe in, and that's something unique to us. So I'm putting this commercial out. When you're watching it, think to yourself, how does this make me feel? What other messages are they sending? How is this hitting home? Think about the ethical shopper, okay? And also, think about the brand at the end that is featuring this, because I thought it was funny.
Hi, Erin. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to just give you some actions to do, and just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aww. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
I actually don't know what it really, if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time, between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time, they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says, you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swim like a girl?
Keep doing it because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. It doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl and I swim like a girl and I walk like a girl and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that's not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do.
If I asked you to run like a girl now, would you do it differently?
I would run like myself.
Would you like a chance to redo it?
Tampons.
Why can't run like a girl also win the race?
That was good, right? That was powerful. I cried the first time I watched that. That hit home. And I might consider buying Always when I always walked past it before. So I think the common themes that I mentioned prior are echoed in this piece, and I think it's a great example of how to talk to millennials. To take it home where we're at, what we've done to be more accessible to our generation is not just offering excellent product, it's going a step beyond. If you want to recycle and send back your empty components, we will do that. We'll give you a coupon. We'll also give you credit to our store because we want you to recycle. We want this environment to be a better place. With a portion of our profits, we're going to be giving back, not just to places like the Zambia Project, but whatever. If it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, let's heighten that. Let's educate on social media. Let's talk about getting involved. These are all important elements for us. That does make money, but also it gives the millennial a relationship that's personal. And that echoes into a captive customer who is always going to be brand loyal to us. Gosh, social trends are so important for what we do at Au Naturale, so we're always trying to be on the cusp of everything cool, which is hard for me, but excellent for the younger millennials that we have hired. And we want to always let them know that we're being transparent because, again, going back to that trust issue, they're not trusting brands that have been out there forever. I bet that took a lot of courage and a lot of money for Always tampons to put that commercial that we watched together, but it did engage, and it engaged me and made me think of their company in a different light. The same way that they engaged me, we have to engage with our customers, and you do too. Even if you're in college, right, and you're a professor, because I see some familiar faces in here, they need to trust you and know that you're being authentic with them. You're treating them like an adult. You care about what they're doing in the future. You're being honest, and they're always going to come back to you as a mentor and always keep you in mind for things in the future. You have to be very original. I don't want to use the word authentic too much, but that's something that we definitely talk about every single day, and how to be more transparent and real. Okay. So, Wisconsin relevance. I wanted to bring this home, and I would love to actually have a conversation with you all on the state of our state, and that we are the last in the country for startup investments, that we really don't have a lot happening in this area to attract millennials and be innovative. And I have felt a call to action, at least with myself, to have more conversations in the community about how to make this issue of not having enough millennials here, watching them move away and not come back. And sometimes they do, but the way it's looking now is that they aren't, which is not a negative, because we have so many wonderful things in this community to highlight and to bring and to elevate, that things like Launch Wisconsin and other companies who are stepping up and say, hey, I want to learn more and I want to do better. We have all the tools to make it happen, so let's do it. And I'm excited, maybe someone has some ideas that when I'm talking to new hires potentially and why they should move here, when millennials are pack animals, 88% of them live in a big city. We are not in a big city. How do we make community that's attractive to our generation, the millennials? And I'm sure that maybe some of you have ideas that hit home with your team, and certainly I would love to hear them. Another thing I want to touch on too, and this comes up all the time with not just our team, but millennials in this area, is not just how to make the community more approachable and closer for our generation, but how to optimize what we have going on just down here too, with water quality and the environment. Things like sustainable agriculture, having more organic, having a future that's green and bright that we're working to and building. These are all wonderful things that I love talking about when I'm on the West Coast and when I'm on the East Coast, and when I'm here, it's just not a dialogue that's happening. And I think that that gets lost when I'm in Madison talking to students. They're so enveloped in that mindset, and when I come up north here, we're not even having that conversation. And it's definitely something that, as an agricultural state, and also one that actually makes more money in tourism because people love the environment that we have here, what are we doing to protect it and enhance it? We can do more. I'm looking around at blank faces. It's because we're not talking about it here, and it's such a resource, and we have to tap into that. And I think that we're missing the boat by not capitalizing on the environmental piece that always comes up with younger generations and how we're doing in this area. So yes.
Just with regard to early stage capital, you may not be aware of it, but in, I think it was 2015, the state of Wisconsin started a public-private partnership with what's called the Badger Fund of Funds. And so 20 million of state funds matched with private capital. There's a group called Sun Mountain Creganza, which is the general partner. Sun Mountain leads a fund of funds concept in New Mexico and Utah. So they're very well known and recognized in terms of early stage capital. And it's very new, but very exciting as well, because we have a fund, David Trotter, who's an individual in Appleton, who just started the Winnebago Fund. And in the lacrosse, there's a Lacrosse Idea Fund. There's 3 more groups that are going through Sun Mountain's training program. So Sun Mountain partnered with Creganza as a capital fund out of Madison. And so they came together as a general partner, again, raised the funds to get the public match. And so those funds were raised in 2015, and their mission is to create 8 to 10 angel, so early stage angel funds around the state. So again, 2 are out raising money. David closed his fund in December. And then there's 3 more, I think Minocqua, Hudson, or the Milwaukee area, Kenosha or something are the other 3. So my point being that Wisconsin is trying to change that, and you'll see more and you'll hear more about that. But these are angel funds that are that the Badger Fund of Funds is the largest partner, and then there's individuals that are raising individual capital with the purpose of funding 8 to 10 startups each. So you have 8 to 10 funds funding 8 to 10 startups, and the objective being to raise Wisconsin from the bottom. So Madison rates very high, and so the capital
in Milwaukee
to fund startups is very robust in Madison, but it's not robust in the rest of the state.
Right.
So this initiative hopefully will give you some hope.
Yeah, that is very hopeful. It's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and I know good people are here, and I also want to say, like, this community is incredible, and we have all the right people and all of the right resources to absolutely change this community like overnight. I know it's here because we came here, everyone's like, why are you moving a makeup company to Green Bay, Wisconsin? That's the most ridiculous idea in the entire world. But truly, when I was about to leave because I was a little fed up with having no investment conversation and we were being offered wonderful things in other cities, I stayed because, and Johnson Make is awesome and we love them and they're great. I was fortunate enough to be on a flight home with one of the accountants from Nicolay. Never thought of a bank as being an outlet for us, giving us the ability to grow. And Nicolay certainly stepped in and allowed for us to do that. Not very traditional for a startup, but certainly like an amazing way to grow your company thoughtfully, with the right resources. And because of everybody at the bank, we really excelled quickly with their advice and their team. So again, like, we have wonderful people here. And I know we have the right attitude to bring in more millennials. And I do want to see the shift happen, and we can do it. And there are excellent efforts. Yes. 2 more questions? Does anybody have any more questions? Yes.
To go back to the Like a Girl.
Yes.
You're one of very few CEOs that have been here. Harvard Business Review released this week or this month, like the top 100 CEOs.
Yes, I like that.
There's more CEOs in America named David than females.
Yeah.
So talk about
David.
how you got to where you're at, and suggestions for other career-minded women.
I do see more women stepping up and spearheading companies and efforts. I think that's coming. I mean, if you look at advanced education, people seeking masters, even like engineering classes right now, there are more women than men in so many. Engineering, I'm going to take that back because I don't know where I pulled that from, but I was reading that there are more women. It was Nicholas Shade, it was your cousin at Dartmouth. He has more women than men in his engineering classes. And I thought that was incredible and an excellent example of, even in that commercial, the younger girls not even thinking twice, like, what's this? Like, they don't do that. Women are strong and they're amazing and they can do anything, and sometimes they can do it better. I mean, I would argue that most times they would do it better. But they're not even thinking about that because we taught them so well. So they will thrive. I think we're just maybe 10 years behind in seeing all of those. But you are right. I mean, it's even board spots, right? I've been interviewed on a couple, like, they're doing it because they have no millennials and they have no women. And a lot of that is in this state, and it's fine. And I love that they're diversifying and looking for new perspectives. But it's something. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and more women can step up. And I know they will. I know they will. And we're close. Yes, Chris.
So there's 2 competing things at play here, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. So our town is a very loyal town. There are people that have lived here for years, generations. People that have worked at companies for their entire lives. And you see, even in the discussion today, companies are making an effort. They want to be more appealing to millennials. We have a lot of great companies here. Like Elevate 97, they've They've changed their mission and their purpose. And Kate was here a couple years ago talking about like what we are. You know, Matt was talking about they're changing their performance culture to be more appealing to millennials. Schreiber is changing their corporate giving structure so people have more, they feel like they see where their dollars are going. You're spending resources on your working environment. But what you touched on earlier is millennials, they're transient. They move around. So these companies are making this effort to attract them and to bring them in. But really, what is the long-term play for those companies? Should we all be looking at bringing millennials in for just like a tour of duty, knowing that they're going to kind of funnel in someone else? Or should we be, is there a way for us to be looking at it long-term? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. How do you captivate them and keep them? I mean, it's something I struggle with right now. I don't know how long Paige and Morgan are going to stay with us. I hope they stay for forever. But you know, the likelihood of that happening is small. So we incentivize. And again, like the old approach of having someone stay in a place for a long time, build up that seniority in a corporation just to then be promoted, that doesn't work. I mean, that is why I left my old job. Like, I wanted to do and have this company, and it was scary to leave because the money was really, really good, and they couldn't fire me. It was the federal government. It was great. But like, I knew what was going to happen to my life, and it scared the hell out of me. I didn't want to be staying at the same desk for 60 years, eating donuts and having coffee and pretending to work. That sounded disgusting. So, I mean, YOLO, you have to live once. I'm not going to stay stagnant. That's so against everything I stand for. And I feel like I can say that as a generation, we want to be challenged. We want to live. We want to climb mountains. We want to take a month off and go, I don't know, trekking in the Himalayas. We want to do all of these things. So make it attractive. Keep them there. Give them flexible work schedules. Give them challenging projects. Give them something that you don't think that they can do. And they're going to do it, and they're going to do it in a way that you never thought of. It will impress you, likely. And keep them hungry. And if you can do that, they'll stay. I hope I'm doing that every day. But I do think that if we change the structure of the day and a normal work day, a normal work structure, mix it up to give them what they need, I think that they won't go. Okay? Cool.
Please join me in thanking Ashley, thank you so much. That was outstanding. We also, here at St. Norbert College, in a sense, are the millennial business. And I just want to say, from our perspective, these young people are so amazing. They really are. And, you know, there's a reason stereotypes emerge in all sorts of situations. But I tell you what, they work hard. They don't take their education for granted. They show up. They are passionate. And they do want to change the world. And you know, to some extent, they want to do it on their own terms, and so did we, and so did our parents. And so, wonderful insight into this opportunity. And thank you so much. And we're very proud of the fact that you started right here at St. Norbert College. So, thank you again. Another round of applause for Ashley. If you'd like a DVD of Ashley's presentation, and I suspect many of us will, please see Amy Sorensen, our Chief of Staff. She's got her hand up back there. And also please join us for our next CEO breakfast. That's going to be Pamela Henson, who is the regional president of Gannett, Wisconsin Media. She's going to be speaking on cause marketing, and that's going to be December 8th down at Butamort Country Club in Appleton. So December 8th, please, I know that's going to be just as compelling in its own way. Also, very quickly, I want to mention, some of you have heard about this, many of you have not, but one of the things the college is working on, the Schneider School of Business and Economics, we're developing a Center for Exceptional Leadership, and this is going to be devoted to working with corporations in the region and also nonprofits who are interested in really developing their mid-level and senior executives. Tom Wilsius, who many of you know, has been had a dream about doing this for a long time. We're fortunate that we're working with Tom to make that happen here. You'll hear more about that at the next session, and we'll have some materials, but wanted just you to be aware that this is something that is on the horizon, and we're very excited about it. Again, Ashley, thank you so much. Good luck to you. It sounds like a wonderful place to work, right? Have a lot of heads nodding. Thank you all for coming here this morning. Have a great day, and we'll see you December 8th at Butte Mort.